and welcome to Finding Your Mojo, Fireside Chats with Chakri Lokpri of TCG Asset Management. Chakri, thanks for joining in. And I think a broad spectrum of viewers today would love to know from you, how does one make their first million, So what are the easy fundas of investing?
Hi, good evening, Samina. I think, those are all very interesting questions. I think one of the most basics is to know yourself, whether you're a pessimist or an optimist. Now, if one is a pessimist, they wouldn't lose a lot of money, they wouldn't make a lot of money. An optimist could make a lot of money and make mistakes along the way. And I think for that, one also needs to tie that in with financial due diligence, because there's no substitute for hard work in terms of analyzing the investments that you make. I think a combination of these, both quantitative as well as emotional, makes the difference.
Right. Chakri, I think we have started using the word unicorn very loosely now and very, very frequently, at least in the last couple of years, right? With everything that's going around us. How does one go about identifying the next unicorn? And I'm asking you this because a lot of young investors believe that they can become millionaires by finding that one stock that, of course, changes or will change their fortunes.
It's absolutely spot on. And if you just think about it, I think anybody if you think Mark Zuckerberg, when he started Facebook, now did he imagine that Facebook would turn out to be the way it is? I guess not. But what happens to a unicorn is along the way, as the ability to think your business and outthink your business, you should be able to visualize growth. And I think that is one of the most important keys for an investor, is to be able to forecast how a business can grow. So what's going to be the narrative for the company? I think that is one of the important things to think about how a company can be in the future.
Of course, it would take immense amount of experience and knowledge to be able to be in that position to, of course, bet on the winning horse or bet on that unicorn, right? Like you said, but a couple of sort of ideas that young investors independently can identify when they think a given stock or a given company could be the future. So what I want to understand is, while fund managers, of course, spend decades studying this and understanding it, it comes with a lot of experience. But what should youngsters be focusing on when they're looking for these stocks? They may not always get it right, I get that, but just a sort of learning for them.
There are two ways one can do this, because, for instance, if one is 20 years old and if you identify a company that grows at 15% per year, and if you start off with, let's say, 10 lakhs, it becomes 1.6 crores by the time one is 36. So you don't really need multi-baggers, and all you need to do is keep watching whether if a company is consistently delivering year on year, and whenever it does not, you have to stop and ask yourself, do you make a course correction, or is this company just a temporary blip? If they blip, you let it go. Otherwise, you change and you move on to the next thing. So this requires a combination of both diligence, constantly monitoring the company, and see whether, and so that's all there is. And as far as the unicorn is concerned, now there are different ways one can do that. Look at what's worked in other markets, and then see if that will apply to another market.
Chakri, what is it that you look for, right? Is it company specific? Is it management specific? Is it sector specific?
It can be a combination of all those things, because you take Flipkart, for instance. Now, the guys who are at Flipkart, they actually used to work at Amazon. And so all that they did is, in reality, they studied the Amazon model, and they saw that it was a huge success in the US and other countries. And they said, why don't we try and do that, replicate the same for Indian conditions, and of course modify the business accordingly. And then you have today Flipkart being one of the largest companies, a unicorn at that, in the Indian conditions. So one is, you imagine out growth. Two, you look at what's worked in other companies that have worked in other markets, and see if some other startup or some other existing company is trying to replicate that. That would one way be in identifying a growing company.
I'm sure a lot of our viewers would love to understand what's going on in your mind when you're identifying these multi-baggers, right? Any specific company that you're tracking right now that you think could have huge potential or could be the next big Flipkart?
Well, if you look at it, for instance, you mentioned Zomato. Now, a couple of years ago, pre-pandemic, pre-COVID, all that Zomato did was try to deliver food from a restaurant to a home, or from a restaurant to an office. And then the pandemic happened, and suddenly the business expanded far faster than even the company could imagine. And the range of products that it started shipping from A to B also dramatically expanded. So it then depends upon whether a founder of a company can seize the moment. I think that is a very important thing to continuously watch for. And that largely determines and how fast they are able to scale it. Sometimes entrepreneurs have fantastic ideas, but they're not so great in implementing them. So see whether it's a combination of whether, hey, the idea is great, and B, are they rolling out and expanding fast enough?
So would you be betting on Zomato, fair to assume?
Indeed, I think it's a great company, and it's a unicorn. But they've delivered under the toughest conditions. I think it's going to do an IPO sometime in the near future. And those are all the outcomes. Now, what went behind it is they looked at different markets. They said, look, one of the things lacking in India is the proper infrastructure, proper moving items from A to B. And there's a lot of youth out there who can be gainfully employed in taking things, products and food from A to B. And they did that really well. And they also recognized that different states within India can behave very differently. And they likewise had very strong operations so that the whole thing succeeded. I think so. It's these small things, these block and tackle things that one needs to look out for, whether they're blocking and tackling with agility.
Right. Chakri, anything that's already in the listed space that you're feeling as bullish about or you think could become the next big story, right? So, of course, Zomato will be listing shortly. I know Nykaa will also be looking at the markets very soon. We'll talk about that too in a minute. But anything else that's already out there that investors can get their hands on?
Indeed, the two different things. Now, for one is Policy Bazaar. Policy Bazaar allows you to go online, check out competing insurance quotes, various types of insurance, health insurance, medical insurance, travel insurance. And certainly, COVID has taught everybody the importance of insurance.
Yeah.
And, this is a company which has, again, done a very good job of learning what's worked in other markets, learning that, how India operates. And this company was under a good, what do you call, backup, which is InfoEdge. The founders of the InfoEdge, they gave the company sufficient time, Policy Bazaar sufficient time to grow and come into its being. So I think that's a company worth looking out for.
Chakri, when a company is on the way to become that unicorn or become that multi-bagger, valuations sometimes go for a toss. And I know we keep talking about how important valuations are. Do they really matter when you're identifying these biggies or these small ones that are going to become biggies eventually? It might not make sense, I'm assuming.
Indeed, absolutely. I think that's a very good question. I think what ultimately matters is growth. Because of growth, if a company is growing fast enough, valuation will take care of itself. Now, I'll just give you an example. Take one of the largest companies in India, Reliance Industries. Now, a couple of years ago, if anybody asked you, what does Reliance Industries do? We would have said, well, it's an oil and gas company. Now, today, if you look at its stock price, let's say it's about 2,200 odd rupees. About 1,000 rupees per share comes from its oil and gas business. Another 1,000 comes from its retail business. Another 500 comes from Jio, the telecom business. Now, these businesses did not exist, or at least they were not in the public eye until about very recently. So then one has to think about how fast, which of these businesses can actually grow faster. Now, it turns out that the retail, and at least the way Reliance Industries is going about its retail business and using technology as a tool to expand into the mom and pop stores, will have a far higher valuation than its traditional business of oil and gas. Now, if you look at a company like Amazon, because that's going to be its competition for Reliance Industries in India, and you compare the valuation and the growth path that Amazon had in other markets, then you can see that Reliance Industries still has a far, long way to go. And so that's one way to look at it, is looking what is the narrative and how is the narrative of a company changing.
Right. So while the company might be a blue chip, the business that we are betting on is more new age. And I think that's what's the important takeaway here. So while Reliance made our grandparents millionaires or billionaires, you believe it still has a potential to make the next gen lots of money or make their millions.
Indeed, I think it's a story which has made both grandparents rich, and I probably grandchildren also will be richer. Just think about it. Now, they're a company, Reliance Retail. It's only 7% of whole India has any form of access to online.
Yeah.
So, and if you have all the mom and pop stores tie into the back end of Reliance IT network, and so that fulfills all the small mom and pop stores get their goods from Reliance backbone. They use Reliance Jio technology to connect through WhatsApp, through various mechanisms, electronic mediums to their customers. So this allows them to grow far faster than they would have ever did otherwise. Now, if that 7% even becomes 10% overall, people moving online, that in itself is a phenomenally big opportunity. So I think Reliance still has a far way to a fantastic growth path, but there are several stories also like that.
Right. So just continuing to focus on that space that you very obviously like. You mentioned Flipkart, you mentioned Zomato, you talked about retail with tech, you talked about Policybazaar. These are very obviously tech platforms. Is that the new tech we're talking about? Is that the new space that we're betting on then, Chakri?
Today the technology is touching every aspect of life. And whether one is educated or not doesn't really matter, because one gets a WhatsApp message from just about all cross sections of society today use WhatsApp as a tool of communication. Now, as WhatsApp and other things like WhatsApp, Signal, Telegram, etc., they all not graduate from just being a mode of communication to a payment gateway, to a transaction gateway. Then just the ease of use of technology enables business. What somebody told me many years ago when I was studying is, it's more than the guys who use technology, the people who make technology happen will be the far richer guys.
Well, so that I think is an important piece of advice as well. But there are curveballs. And I'm going to bring up Uber here, right? Uber and Ola, those are the biggest stories up until 2019 when the pandemic hit. I'm sure those numbers don't look like anything the management or the founders would have expected. In the same way, are there any sort of telltale signs, anything to watch out? While this space looks so promising, could there be any unprecedented risk or black swan events that could impact the sector that youngsters should keep in mind? Because it shouldn't be that you get into a company and then you don't have an exit because of unprecedented circumstances. COVID, for example, which has worked for them.
Those are very good questions, and absolutely one needs to be on the lookout for those things. Now, if you take, for instance, Diageo, when it came into and bought over United Spirits, they said, hey, India is a large country. There are several 100 million people who is a young population who like to socialize and have a drink, and therefore it's a growth market. And then, the court changed the rules, and they said one couldn't have bars on the highways. And lo and behold, and I think in one summer, 65,000 crores worth of revenue was lost until the laws were slightly modified. So these are the kinds of things one absolutely needs to be mindful of, and then sit back and ask yourself, hey, so is now the story changed, or is this a temporary blip?
Right. Very last, I think we're short of time as well. So I'm going to quickly start wrapping up our conversation, but 3 to 4 sort of takeaways from a conversation. Any advice that you have for investors, young people in their early 20s joining the employment where everyone has stars in their eyes and everyone wants to be the next big bull, if I may say. What is it that they need to keep in mind? What are those 3 to 4 points or 3 to 4 sort of, if someone's saying with a book and pen, what should they be noting down?
More than advice, I think, just about everybody, and today youngsters are very smart. It's basically know yourself, and, being an optimist always helps. Being emotionally agile and having that quotient of not getting personal opinions in the way of making investment decisions, and try to call a spade a spade. And then think big. Like Donald Trump said, if you got to think, then think really big. I think that is the way to see whether a business can grow to be really big. And then finally, the most important, simplest takeaway which I've discovered is you don't really need multi-baggers all along. Just keep identifying companies which can grow roughly around that 15% over the next 15 odd years. And if you start off with 1 crore, 15, 16 years later, that would compound to about 15, 16 crores. So you can pretty much become a millionaire just taking care of the pennies and ensuring that the glide path remains intact.
All right. Thanks, Chakri. I think that's very valuable advice for our viewers. Take it slow, take it easy. Power of compounding is at play. But like Chakri also indicated, the action is in the tech platform space. Having said that, companies like Reliance as well still have the opportunity to make you lots of money. So keep your eyes and ears on the ground. Thanks, Chakri. Have a good day.
Thank you so much.